Hello, friends, and welcome back. Today, we are going to look at why life's challenges aren't actually as big as they seem. Have you ever felt like the problems in your life are just too heavy to carry? Like every little thing that goes wrong, a stressful day, a difficult task, or a sudden challenge, just leaves a bitter taste in your mouth? If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and stay with me. The truth is, life's challenges don't actually change in size. What changes is your capacity to handle them. Today, I'm going to share a simple story about a boy, a handful of salt, and a powerful lesson from his father that will completely change how you look at your struggles. By the end of this video, you will discover the secret to becoming emotionally unstoppable. You'll learn why some people drown in small troubles, while others float through massive storms with absolute peace. So, clear your mind, get comfortable, and let's find out. Are you being the pond, or are you being the river? Let's begin. The pond and the river. Hello, friends. Today, I'm going to tell you a story. It might change the way you look at your problems. It is about a young boy who thought his problems were too heavy to carry. But he did not know one simple truth. Most problems in life are not as big as they look. The answers are often right in front of us. By the end of this story, you will understand this yourself. So, sit back, take a deep breath, and listen carefully until the very end. The boy who complained. Once upon a time, a boy named Leo lived in a small village with green fields. Leo was smart, but he had a bad habit. He worried too much. Even the smallest trouble looked like a huge mountain to him. If the weather was too hot, he would say, "How can anyone work in this heat?" If the teacher gave him homework, he would complain, "This is impossible." If his mother asked for help, he would whisper, "Why is everything so hard for me?" Day by day, Leo complained more and more. Slowly, people started to avoid him. No one likes to be around someone who only sees the bad things. The father's lesson. One evening, Leo's father got tired of hearing his son complain. He called Leo and said, "Come with me. I want to show you something." They walked for a long time. Finally, they reached a quiet pond at the edge of the village. The water was completely still. Leo's father handed him a small handful of salt and said, "Throw it in." Leo threw the salt into the pond. Then his father said, "Now, taste the water." Leo bent down, took a little sip, and spat it out right away. "It is so bitter," he said. His father just nodded. Next, his father gave him another handful of salt. This time, he took Leo to a wide river nearby. "Throw it in here," his father said. Leo did what he was told. Then his father asked him to taste the river water. Leo scooped up the water with his hands and drank it. He looked up in surprise. "It is fresh," Leo said. "I cannot taste the salt at all." A lesson for the heart. His father smiled gently and said, "Son, life's problems are just like salt. They're always there, and the amount of problems never changes. But how much they hurt you depends on the size of your heart. If you keep your heart small like the pond, every problem will make your life bitter. But if you make your heart big like the river, you will hardly feel the bitterness at all." Those words went deep into Leo's mind. For the first time, he understood. Maybe the world was not as mean as he thought. Maybe the problem was not life itself, but how he looked at it. Learning to grow. That night, Leo lay in bed and thought about the pond and the river. He whispered to himself, "If I stay like the pond, I will keep suffering. But if I become like the river, I can handle anything." The next morning, Leo decided to change little by little. When his teacher gave him extra homework, he did not complain. He told himself, "This is my chance to learn more." When his mother asked him to carry buckets of water, he smiled and thought, "This will make me stronger." Even when the hot sun burned his back, he did not groan. He said, "This is just another test. I can do it." At first, it was not easy. His old habit of complaining tried to pull him back. But every time he remembered his father's words, he pushed himself forward. Becoming the river. Weeks turned into months, and something beautiful happened. Leo changed. He was no longer the boy who cried at every little thing. People noticed how calm he was. His friends wanted to spend time with him again. His teacher praised him in class, and his parents felt very proud. Most importantly, Leo felt happy and light inside. Problems still came to him, exams, chores, and hard days, but he did not drown in them anymore. Instead, he flowed right through them like a river, carrying them with ease. One evening, as the sun went down behind the hills, Leo sat quietly by the river. He watched the water flow, carrying leaves, sticks, and stones without stopping. He smiled and whispered, "Every problem has a simple answer. It is not about removing the salt. It is about becoming the river." The truth about challenges. So, my friends, remember this. Life will always bring challenges. Some days will be hard, and some nights will feel very long. But the answer is not to complain or run away. The answer is to grow bigger. Open your heart wider and face your problems with a calm mind. The truth is very simple. Problems do not shrink. We grow, and when we grow, every problem becomes small. So, whenever you feel stuck, just ask yourself, am I being the pond, or am I being the river? Motivation life lesson from this story. This story delivers a powerful blueprint for personal growth and mental strength. Instead of focusing on how to eliminate life's difficulties, it teaches us how to change our internal capacity to handle them. Here are the key motivational life lessons from the story. 1. You cannot always change your situation, but you can change your mindset. In the story, the amount of salt remained exactly the same in both the pond and the river. In life, you will always face challenges, exams, heavy workloads, unexpected problems, or difficult days. You cannot always stop these things from happening, but you completely control how you respond to them. Changing your attitude changes your entire experience. 2. Growth happens when you stop complaining. When Leo complained about everything, his problems felt like giant mountains, and he felt heavy and miserable. Complaining traps you in a pond mindset, making your environment toxic and bitter. The moment Leo stopped groaning and started viewing chores as strength-building and homework as a chance to learn, his suffering ended. Complaining magnifies the problem. Action magnifies your strength. 3. Expand your capacity to become the river. A pond is small, stagnant, and easily ruined by a little bit of salt. A river is vast, open, and constantly moving. When you have a small heart or a narrow mind, every minor inconvenience feels like a major disaster. To handle bigger challenges, you must expand your mind, practice calmness, and become emotionally larger than your problems. 4. Problems don't shrink, we grow. We often pray for our problems to disappear or get easier. But the true path to success and happiness isn't a life without struggles. It is becoming a person who can handle those struggles with grace. As the story beautifully concludes, the challenges in front of you do not get smaller. You simply become bigger and stronger until they no longer overwhelm you. The daily reminder. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by stress, a difficult task, or a bad day, pause and ask yourself, am I absorbing this like a small pond, or am I letting it dissolve into me like a vast river? Choose to be the river. Learn English from this story. Using stories is one of the best ways to learn English because you see vocabulary and grammar used in natural sentences. Let's break down this story to learn new words, useful grammar patterns, and common expressions. 1. Vocabulary and meaningful words. Here are the key words from the story that will help build your vocabulary. Complain verb, to say that something is wrong, bad, or annoying. Example from story. If the teacher gave him homework, he would complain. Avoid verb, to stay away from someone or something. Example from story. And slowly, people began to avoid him. Obey verb, to do what someone asks you to do. Example from story. Leo obeyed. He did what his father told him to do. Bitter adjective, a sharp taste like unsweetened coffee or dark chocolate. In this story, it also means a feeling of anger or sadness. Example from story. It is so bitter, he said. Capacity noun, the total amount that something can hold or handle. Example from life lesson. It teaches us how to change our internal capacity to handle problems. Overwhelmed adjective. Feeling like something is too much or too difficult to handle. Example from intro, if you're feeling overwhelmed right now. 2. Idioms and phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs, verb plus preposition, are used constantly by native speakers. This story contains several great examples. Look at, from story, to think about or view a situation in a certain way. Example, change the way you look at your own challenges. 3. Key grammar pattern. The used to alternative would for past habits. In English, we use used to talk about things we did regularly in the past, but don't do now. However, you can also use would to describe past habits or repeated actions. The story uses this a lot to show Leo's old behavior. Story, if the weather was too hot, he would say. Meaning, in the past, every time it was hot, he repeatedly said this. Another example, if his mother asked for help, he would whisper. Grammar tip, you can use would plus verb to tell stories about past habits, just like saying he used to say or he used to whisper. 4. Useful structures for everyday speaking. You can copy these sentence structures from the story and change a few words to use them in your daily life. Pattern A, the more. The story says, day by day, Leo complained more and more. You can change this to talk about your learning progress. Day by day, my English is getting better and better. Week by week, I am becoming stronger and stronger. Pattern B, this is my chance to. When Leo changed his mindset, he used this phrase to look at difficulties positively. This is my chance to learn more. This is my chance to practice my speaking. This is my chance to grow stronger. 5. Practice corner. Check your understanding. Try to complete these sentences using the words you learned above: complain, avoid, capacity, turned into. Instead of working hard, he chose to about the difficult task. If you practice English every day, weeks will months, and you'll become fluent. She tried eating sweet foods to stay healthy. Reading books helps expand your mental to understand complex ideas. Answers: 1. Complain. 2. Turn into. 3. Avoid. 4. Capacity. The final impact. So, my friends, the next time a wave of stress hits you or a new challenge stands in your way, don't wish for the problem to disappear. Don't look for ways to remove the salt. Instead, look inward and ask yourself, am I being the pond, or am I being the river? Remember, life doesn't get easier. You just get stronger. You grow. If this story brought a little bit of peace to your mind today, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps our community grow. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with the words, I am the river, to show that you're choosing to grow bigger than your challenges today. I read every single one of your comments. If you want to keep filling your days with wisdom, motivation, and simple lessons for a peaceful life, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching, for sharing your time with me, and for choosing to grow. Take care of yourself, stay calm, and I will see you in the next story.